All right, time is 7 o'clock. Very good evening to all the participants. And we have with us Dr. Monika ma'am. And I won't take much time because the introduction part was over yesterday. I request ma'am to kindly please take over the session and continue.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
So I hope all of you recall the session that we had yesterday with special focus on synopsis writing. And today we will confine our discussion on thesis writing. And as suggested by the scholars, we will focus more on chapter writing. We will discuss how to write each chapter, the main points that we can discuss in one session. Okay. So this is the overview of what we have covered yesterday, foundation and structure of synopsis and thesis. And now let us come to today's session. So today's session, as we all know, focuses on writing the doctoral thesis chapter-wise. The primary goal is to build a thesis manuscript that is fully compliant with UGC and university norms and can be approved by the Departmental Research Committee, that is DRC, without revisions. Each chapter, from introduction to conclusion, will be covered step by step with real samples from the approved theses at universities like NMIMS, GLA, and REVA. Today's session will equip you with structure, formatting style, referencing requirements, plagiarism thresholds, and publication integration strategies. Whether using SmartPLS for path modeling, Zotero for referencing, or Turnitin for similarity reports, this session ensures hands-on thesis readiness. Each scholar will engage in chapter drafting, aligning their work with university guidelines. By the end of today, you will have templates, tools, and frameworks required to convert your research into a defensible thesis manuscript, into a defendable thesis manuscript. So let us explore through a caselet as we were discussing yesterday, and you suggested to continue with a similar format today. Dr. Arvind Jain, again I make you recall that all the names, university names, and the situations are totally hypothetical, and the focus is more on understanding the concepts. It is nothing personal or nothing specific or real example in any of the caselets. These are different situations. You may consider the name as X or the university name as Y, as you feel so. So Dr. Arvind Jain, a scholar from Sharda University, was unable to get departmental approval due to fragmented thesis chapters and lack of methodological clarity. His literature review was descriptive and his formatting was inconsistent. During a 2-day workshop, he learned to structure each chapter using university-specific templates. He applied Prisma for systematic literature review, framed his hypothesis with theoretical grounding, and analyzed data using SPSS. By integrating Zotero for citations and refining his conclusion chapter with policy-level recommendations, he structured his entire thesis within 21 days. On resubmission, it was approved without corrections. This structured training in thesis writing not only enabled a timely degree, but also helped him publish 2 journal articles. Today, he trains junior scholars and advocates for mandatory workshop before thesis submission. So the question is, why must a thesis align with UGC and university-specific formatting? Why must a thesis align with UGC and university-specific formatting? Anything that comes across to your mind, please speak up and be participative. Yes? Anyone? Your participation motivates me. Yes, please. To meet academic standards, avoid resubmissions, and ensure credibility. What is the benefit of using reference management tools like Zotero? What is the benefit of using reference management tools like Zotero? Yes, please. They streamline in-text citations and ensure correct bibliographic formatting. Which of the following is a mandatory tool for plagiarism checking in thesis writing? SPSS, Turnitin, Canva, or Excel?
Turnitin.
Very right. It is
Turnitin.
Yes. Thank you so much. What is the main purpose of today's workshop? That is the second day. Data collection, journal
Thesis chapter
publication
writing.
publishing. Yes, it is. C.
Thesis chapter
Yes.
writing.
Thesis
Very
chapter
right.
writing.
Chapter writing.
Writing. Right. Thank you so much for active participation and remain like this throughout the session. Now you can perform one activity of chapter drafting simulation. Either you can do side by side or you understand what you need to do here and you can do it later. It is up to you. I prefer you to do it side by side. So what you can do is you can take a thesis chapter and you can take the sample, the university format, I mean the format provided by your university. And then you can draft the chapter that you have selected, say chapter 1, and the main focus is on the research that you own. Then peer review it among different groups and identify formatting gaps or issues. Then you can make the template, I mean chapter mapping template with word count and formatting norms. See, word count, formatting norms, template are equally important along with the content. Now here I have given the guidelines. I have found these guidelines today and I have been sharing this link, and one is of Zotero that you all know. Okay. Now let us discuss what we need to focus while writing chapter 1, that is introduction in thesis, as one of you suggested yesterday, but I will take up all the chapters to give you some valuable insights, followed by the caselets. So chapter 1 establishes the intellectual foundation of the thesis by outlining the research background and clearly contextualizing the topic. It starts with industry reports, empirical data, or scholarly debates that highlight the need for investigation. The problem statement must emerge logically from this background and demonstrate a clear critical research gap. Objectives must be formulated as SMART. SMART means SMART. S.
Specific.
Yes.
Specific,
Yes.
Measurable.
Yes.
Achievable.
achievable,
Right.
relevant, and time bound.
Very right. Very right. So these goals, that objectives must be formulated as SMART goals that drive the thesis forward. Always take into consideration these SMART objectives when you are moving ahead while writing the thesis. The scope defines the boundaries and focus areas, while the justification section connects the study's relevance to the policy. This is something I emphasized yesterday also, that either it should be contributing to policy formulation or industry or academia. Kindly take this into consideration. For example, a thesis on employee turnout in tier 2 cities can justify relevance by referencing NIMHANS or ILO data. The chapter concludes by mapping out what each subsequent chapter will cover. This structure helps the scholar and committee maintain clarity and coherence. Universities like BIT, MESRA, and NAMIMS mandate the inclusion of a chapter framework table in the introductory chapter. Now let us explore this concept further through a caselet. Dr. Mansi Rathi from MIT's Institute of Management initially submitted a thesis without clearly defined objectives in her introduction. The problem statement was generic and lacked evidence of academic rigor. After guidance during a national workshop, she rewrote her introduction using structured components. She provided context using RBI and MSME Ministry of Data, narrowed her problem statement to focus on talent retention in small IT firms, and aligned her research objectives with industry benchmarks. She added a justification section that highlighted how her study could influence HR policy decisions in Tier 2 cities. By concluding the chapter with a brief summary and the structure of the upcoming chapters, her revised introduction was approved instantly. This refined clarity created coherence for the rest of her thesis and improved her overall academic writing. What makes a research problem statement academically valuable? Anyone? What makes a research problem statement academically valuable? The research problem statement must be, it should identify what? A clear, researchable gap with academic or practical relevance. Why must the introduction preview the chapter structure? Why must the introduction pre-review the chapter structure? Very basic and general question. It helps guide the reader and sets expectation for the thesis flow. Okay. So what should the research objective be? Broad and general, smart, hypothetical, or repetitive?
Smart.
Smart, right. Objectives must be smart. Which of the following is not part of chapter 1? Literature themes, problem statement, justification, and objectives.
Justification.
Chapter 1, introduction. Yes, please. No, not justification. It is a part of chapter 1. It is?
Literature.
Yes, it is literature themes. So it means we should include problem statement, objectives, and justification in chapter 1. Right? Now, you can make one activity to understand introduction chapter builder. I mean, how to build introduction chapter or first chapter. So what is the first step? You need to select your thesis topic that you have already done. Then you can draft background with data sources. For example, industry reports. Then you can frame a problem statement using a 5-point gap approach. Then write smart objectives. Then peer review and refine with provided university format. So what will be the flow of this chapter? It is a pyramid. I mean, we at the base, we will have broad background, then narrow problem, then objectives, then significance, and then chapter structure. Let me repeat: broad background, narrow problem, objectives, significance, and chapter structure. So this is how you can build your introduction chapter. I hope I am able to clarify. Yes? The first chapter on introduction? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
I hope all of you know that every thesis, after the final consent of the evaluator, has to be uploaded on Shodh Ganga. I hope all of you know this. Every thesis that has been awarded must be uploaded on Shot Ganga before convocation or before the, yes, awarding the degree to the candidate. This is a mandate by government. So if you want to go for any kind of thesis, just explore this website, Shodh Ganga, and you can find various theses on it. Yeah. So this will help you a lot. But use it as a guideline because all theses are available online. Otherwise, it will lead to plagiarism. So just use it as a reference, not for any other purpose. Now, should we move on to the second chapter, that is LR or literature review?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So this is how we will take up all the chapters, right? And then we will discuss how we can take up this thesis to publication in Scopus or somewhere. So the literature review chapter critically evaluates previous research and situates the scholar's study within existing knowledge. Begin with specific review objectives that align with the research problem that actually we have already done in the previous chapter. But as we all know, chapters cannot be independent. So a link must be established between both the chapters 1 and 2 using objectives and research problem. So use the Prisma protocol to systematically identify, screen, and select high-quality sources, preferably from Scopus, Web of Science, and Shodh Ganga. To maintain quality, I also request all of you or suggest all of you to confine only to Scopus or Web of Science and Shodh Ganga if you want to maintain quality. Then literature should be organized thematically. For example, leadership styles, decision-making models, or chronologically based on the evolution of thought. Then identify research gaps by highlighting inconsistencies, limitations, or unexplored areas in the literature that we have discussed yesterday in detail. This will justify the researcher's contribution. You have to justify why you are doing so, what is the base, and these are the queries. So you are preparing for your Viva side by side. Use the review to build the conceptual framework that visually represents variable linkages derived from theory and prior findings. All citations must follow APA 7th edition using Zotero for consistency. For example, while reviewing studies on digital transformation in supply chains, gaps in Indian SMEs context may emerge. This process not only strengthens scholarly grounding, but also ensures a structured thesis chapter that passes peer and DRC scrutiny. Now, what we are trying to say here, let us explore this further. Dr. Shikha Nair, a scholar at Reva University, had collected over 120 research papers for her literature review, but lacked a systematic approach to structure them. Her chapter lacked coherence and failed to present a clear research gap. After attending a structured thesis writing workshop, she used the Prisma protocol to filter 80 high-quality relevant papers. She adopted a thematic framework dividing her review into 5 domains: employee engagement, organizational justice, remote work culture, leadership, and performance outcomes. She then constructed a conceptual framework linking perceived justice to employee productivity using variables validated in Indian public sector studies. By referencing each section through Zotero in APA 7 format, her citations became standardized and credible. Her revised literature review was praised by the DRC and became the basis for a published Scopus paper in the International Journal of Productivity and Performance Management. So how does the Prisma protocol improve the literature review process? Yes, please. How does the Prisma protocol improve the literature review process?
Basically, from 120 research papers, you narrow it down to 42, no? Right?
Okay.
So basically what we're trying to see is only the relevant literatures
Okay.
are taken.
Okay.
So it's a basically cleaning process.
Yes. It ensures transparency, replicability, and systematic inclusion of quality research. Very right. Why is developing a conceptual framework important in the literature review? Why is developing a conceptual framework important in the literature review?
It will give you clear idea of independent variable, dependent variable.
Yes. So it visually connects theoretical constructs, guiding hypothesis development and research design. Right. What does PRISMA stand for? PRISMA. Yes, please. I hope all of you know it. We discussed yesterday also. Yes, PRISMA, full form. Forgot?
Second option, B.
Yes, sir. It is second option B, preferred reporting items for systematic reviews and meta-analysis. Okay. Which referencing style is mandated under UGC for thesis writing in management?
C.
Right.
C.
It is APA 7th edition or the latest edition, you can say. Full form of APA?
American Psycho.
American
American Psychology
Association.
Association. Right. Thank you so much. So all of you remember. PRISMA-based literature map creation. What we can do. So you can select a research topic. Then you can perform literature searches on Scopus and Web of Science. Or you can make use of Google Scholar and you can download the free PDFs available. Published in high quality journals. Indexed in Web of Science or Scopus. Then you can apply PRISMA steps. What are these steps? Identification, screening, eligibility, and inclusion. Build a PRISMA flow diagram either manually or via software. Then use accepted studies to prepare a conceptual framework. So the diagram will be PRISMA flowchart and the template will be identification, screening, eligibility, and inclusion. Now I have given you some links here of PRISMA guidelines, APA 7th edition guide and Zotero referencing tool. You can make use. Now let us move on to chapter 3, that is research methodology. I hope all of you are comfortable with the flow.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. So the research methodology chapter provides a clear and replicable blueprint for the entire research process. It begins by stating the research paradigm, positivist, interpretivist, or pragmatist, and then aligns the methodology, that is qualitative, quantitative, or mixed methods, with the research objectives. So you must define the population under study, justify the sampling technique, for example, stratified, purposive, or snowball, and specify the sample size using published standards of formulae like Cochrane's, the tool for data collection, for example, structured questionnaires, interviews, or scales like SERVQL. Full form of SERVQL, from where, which two words we have taken this abbreviation? Serve from
Service.
Survey.
and qual from
Quality.
quality. Right. So the tools for data collection must be presented with procedural clarity. Reliability is ensured through Cronbach's alpha or pilot testing. Validity is established via expert interview or factor analysis. Ethical safeguards include informed consent, anonymity, and data protection. Appropriate statistical software must be specified, like SPSS for basic statistics, MOS for SEM, and SmartPLS for PLS-SEM. So this chapter ensures transparency and academic rigor and must align with UGC and university research policy documents. Now let us explore this. Dr. Praveen Reddy, pursuing his PhD at NAMIMS Hyderabad, faced multiple rejections due to an inconsistent research methodology chapter. He had not justified his choice of non-probability sampling, nor explained his use of mixed method approach. During a focused thesis writing workshop, he restructured his chapter by identifying the pragmatist paradigm for mixed methods. He justified purposive sampling of 120 HR managers based on accessibility and aligned it with his objectives. He selected the Gallup employee engagement tool and validated it using Cronbach's alpha, that is 0.87. Data collection followed ethical clearance from the university's institutional review board. He analyzed the quantitative part with SPSS and thematic responses through NVivo. The revised chapter included tables detailing procedures, instruments, and variable operationalization. Instruments, another name for instrument is in empirical research? It is? Okay. With this clarity, yes.
Tools.
Questionnaire tools.
For example, can you name one?
Questionnaire.
Yes, questionnaire. Thank you. The revised chapter included tables detailing procedures, instruments, and variable operationalization. With this clarity, his thesis methodology was approved and published as a methodology article in the Journal of Human Resource and Sustainability Development. So why is alignment between research objectives and methodology critical in thesis writing? Alignment between objectives and methodology. It ensures methodological rigor and appropriate data generation to answer research questions. What ethical safeguards should be included in the methodology chapter? Yes. Informed consent, participant confidentiality, and institutional ethical clearance. Which statistical software is ideal for SEM? Yes?
SPSS.
Right. No, SEM.
SEM.
SPSS is for basic research.
Amos.
MOS is not given here. Yes,
MOS
it is
is not
MOS, but the option is not given.
Or
Then,
SmartPLS.
right. Actually, it is for
SmartPLS.
PLS-SEM, but when PLS, option is not given, so we can take SmartPLS. Otherwise, it is MOS. What is used to assess the reliability of a questionnaire?
Cronbach's alpha.
Right. Cronbach's alpha. Now, methodology blueprint. When we want to develop methodology or write methodology chapter, what should we do? So, let us discuss the steps. First, select one objective from your thesis, any one objective, maybe the first one. Then choose an appropriate paradigm and design. Then draft population, sampling method, and tools. Then enter the data you have collected into SPSS template for hypothetical analysis. And then groups, review, I mean, go for peer review and provide feedback and collect feedback. Or you can take feedback from your guide. So what will be the flow of methodology alignment? Paradigm, leading to design, to sampling, to tool, to analysis, and then ethics. I'll repeat: paradigm, design, sampling, tool, analysis, and ethics. So these are certain links I have given. Now chapter 4, data analysis and interpretation. So chapter 4 presents a logical and statistical interpretation of the collected data. Begin by describing the data cleaning steps taken, handling missing values, outliers, or inconsistent entries. Then apply descriptive statistics such as means, frequencies, and standard deviation to present basic data insights. Then employ inferential statistics aligned with your objectives, such as t-test for group comparisons, ANOVA for multiple groups, or correlation for relationships, and regression or SAM for prediction and model testing. The results from SPSS or SmartPLS must be pasted as tables or figures and interpreted in context, not just reported. For example, a p-value less than 0.05 indicates statistical significance. So do not merely state statistical values, relate them back to the hypothesis and research questions. Avoid raw technical jargons. Instead, interpret what the value imply about your sample or theoretical assumptions. Visual aids such as bar graphs, path models, or scattered plots enhance clarity and are expected in UGC compliant thesis formats. Now see the caselet. Dr. Poonam Rajan, a doctoral scholar from Sanskriti University, faced difficulty interpreting statistical outputs in her thesis. Her SPSS tables were pasted without explanation and no link was made to her hypothesis. During a thesis workshop, she restructured chapter 4 by grouping her objectives with the corresponding tests. Objective 1 with t-test, objective 2 with Pearson correlation, and objective 3 with regression analysis. Each test result was followed by an interpretation of significance, strength, and implications. She visually presented SmartPLS path coefficients in a model diagram and used model fit indices to validate her findings. The chapter integrated results with theoretical expectations from the literature review. Her revised submission received immediate approval and later formed the quantitative basis for a co-authored Scopus publication and customer experience and purchased behavior. So why is it important to align statistical tools with research objectives? This ensures accurate hypothesis testing and data interpretation consistent with the study's aims. What common mistakes should be avoided when presenting software outputs? Avoid inserting raw tables without interpretation or linking them to the research problem. What statistical test is best for comparing means between two independent groups?
ANOVA?
Yes? No?
Correlation.
No?
Independent. Deep.
Yes, it is t-test.
Test.
Which software is widely used for partial least square structural equational modeling?
SmartPLS.
Right. SmartPLS. Now, for statistical interpretation, what should we do? What you can do is you gather your survey data set, then input the clean data in SPSS, then apply the statistical tests based on objectives, and then interpret p-values, r-square, or beta coefficients, and then present results through tables and graphical models. So the diagram will be SPSS output table plus SmartPLS path model with significant indicators. So here are some links. One is for SPSS tutorial from IBM. Another is SmartPLS guide. All links are working. Before sharing with you, I test all the links personally. Then chapter 5 on findings and discussions. So chapter 5 transforms statistical results into meaningful insights. It starts by mapping each research objective with the related findings. Instead of repeating numerical values, the focus must shift to what the results imply. Scholars must interpret findings using theoretical lenses established in the literature review, such as Herzberg's motivation theory, SERVQUAL, or TAM. It is crucial to state how results support or contradict previous studies and why these differences may occur due to context, population, or methodology. Findings must be extended to provide practical applications in industry or public policy. For example, if emotional intelligence strongly correlates with the team productivity, HR strategies can incorporate EI training. When findings contradict literature, provide plausible explanations and mention limitations. So this chapter demonstrates scholarly insight and should align with conceptual framework. Each interpretation must choose the research loop, that is from objectives to results to theory to implications. Now let us explore it further. Dr. Krupa Shah from Pacific Academy of Higher Education faced challenges during her final viva because Chapter 5 lacked theoretical grounding. Her findings were numerically strong, but disconnected from the conceptual framework she proposed in Chapter 2. After revisiting her thesis during a workshop, she revised Chapter 5 by linking each major finding to the literature review and the original hypothesis. Her observation that employee wellness initiatives led to higher job satisfaction was contextualized through Maslow's hierarchy of needs and Spector's job satisfaction model. She also explained why one of her hypotheses did not match previous studies, citing industry and demographic differences. Her revised chapter included a table mapping objectives, findings, theoretical interpretation, and implications. This made her discussion focused, theory-backed, and publication-ready. Her thesis was approved, and she was invited to submit the discussion section as a chapter in a peer-reviewed edited volume. So why must findings be interpreted through theoretical frameworks? To provide academic depth, validate results, and connect findings with existing scholarship. How can contradictions between findings and literature be addressed in the thesis? By explaining context-based differences, methodology variations, or data limitations. So which of the following should be included when interpreting thesis findings? Yes.
B.
Right.
Theoretical connections and implications.
Yeah. It is B. Theoretical connections and implications. Right. What is the purpose of aligning findings with research objectives? Findings with research objectives.
To ensure coherence and goal-based interpretation.
Right, ma'am. To ensure coherence and goal-based interpretation.
Okay.
Now, findings discussion grid. How can we make it? So, first of all, you should list your 3 major findings from your data. Why 3? Because we are discussing in class. Then map each respective research objective. Then interpret results using one theoretical model. Then state one policy or industry implication per finding. Then share and discuss divergent interpretations in break. Okay. So what will be the flow? Findings to objectives, theory implications, then table format. Yes, you are saying something? Please ask if any query. Okay. So here are certain links for literature review theories and Gester for theory matching. Now, chapter 6, that is summary, conclusions, and recommendations. So, chapter 6 brings closure to the thesis by integrating all previous chapters into a cohesive conclusion. Begin with the structured summary of research objectives and major findings, highlighting their alignment. Unlike the discussion chapter, the conclusion avoids detailed analysis and focuses on succinct, conclusive statements. These should directly address each research objective. Next, frame recommendations across 3 levels: industry practice, academic contribution, and policy formulation. Recommendations must be actionable and grounded in your findings. The chapter should also mention the study's limitations, such as geographic focus, sample size, or time frame, and how these might influence generalizability. This demonstrates scholarly honesty. Finally, identify areas where future researchers can explore extensions or new variables. For instance, if your study focused on e-commerce in Tier 1 cities, recommend future studies in rural markets or across different sectors. This chapter strengthens your thesis by clearly showing closure, relevance, and continuity for further scholarly inquiry. Now let us explore this further. Dr. Kavita Menon of GLA University initially concluded her thesis with just a short paragraph summarizing findings. Her DRC returned it for revisions, stating it lacked recommendations and future research directions. During a structured writing session, she expanded chapter 6 by summarizing each of her 5 objectives and corresponding conclusions. She proposed academic recommendations like integrating her model into management curricula and practical strategies for firms to improve team productivity. She identified that the study was limited to fintech startups in Mumbai and could be expanded geographically. Her recommendations for future research included a comparative study between startups and traditional banking institutions. By adding a clearly formatted table that mapped objectives to findings, conclusions, and recommendations, her final chapter gained structure and clarity. Her theses were approved with praise for a well-structured closing, and her recommendations were adopted by 2 regional policy forums. So why is it important to include study limitations in a thesis?
Because of the time frame,
Right,
as well as the research is on a limited scope, it has to
right,
be enlarged a population
right,
rather than a sample, actually.
right,
It should focus on the population rather than the sample.
right. So to acknowledge research boundaries and contextualize findings appropriately. What makes a recommendation academically credible? It must be specific, yes, relevant to the findings, and aligned with theoretical and practical implications. Which of the following is not typically included in chapter 6?
Raw data tables.
Right. Right. Raw data tables. Which element adds future value to a completed thesis?
Directions for future research.
Right. It is C, directions for future research.
Future research.
Now, how to build conclusion and recommendations. So you can revisit your research objectives and then you can draft one concise conclusion per objective. For every objective, you should draft your conclusion. Then frame one recommendation per conclusion. One objective, one conclusion, and one recommendation initially. Then have them list 2-3 limitations. Then propose 2 future research areas linked to the topic. I'll repeat. Draft one concise conclusion per objective. Frame one recommendation per conclusion. List 2-3 limitations. Propose 2 future research areas linked to the topic. So what will be the flow? Summary table will comprise of objective, key finding, conclusion, recommendation, limitation, and future scope. Right. So I'll repeat. The summary table will comprise objective, key finding, conclusion, recommendation, limitation, and future scope. 6 items. Right. So it can have 6 columns. Okay. So future research planning, I have given one link. You can explore if you like. Now referencing and annexures. So this chapter focuses on 2 critical but often overlooked thesis components, referencing and annexures. All universities listed in the workshop, including NAMIMS, GLA and REVA, mandate APA 7th edition for both in-text and end-text citations. I hope all of you understand in-text and end-text. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Tools like Zotero and Mendeley automate citation formatting and help in managing a large number of sources without errors. Each source used journal, book, website that must appear both within the text and in the reference list. Common errors include inconsistent formatting, missing author names, or improper DOI usage. So you must double check for citation completeness. Annexures include all supplementary data that supports the thesis but is not a part of the main content. This includes raw data, tools used such as survey forms, institutional ethical clearance, and Turnitin plagiarism reports. These must be numbered, referenced in the main text, and neatly formatted. A well-documented annexure and a complete, accurate reference list strengthens the credibility and acceptability of the thesis. So let us explore it further through a caselet. Dr. Aditya Sen from MIT Institute of Management faced a delay in thesis approval because his referencing style was inconsistent. His in-text citations were in MLA, while bibliographic followed APA 6th edition. Additionally, he had not included the ethical clearance certificate and plagiarism report. After attending a citation and annexure focused writing workshop, he switched to Zotero and corrected over 200 citations using APA 7th edition formatting. He also included scanned annexures for survey forms, informed consent letters. I hope all of you understand informed consent. Yes or no?
Yes, informed consent.
Yes, right. And raw SPSS data. He appended the Turnitin report issued by the research center and added a note of plagiarism compliance signed by his guide. These modifications not only fulfilled UGC and institutional norms, but added transparency and authenticity to his work. As a result, his thesis was approved, and he now mentors scholars in using citation management tools and preparing compliant annexures. So, why is consistent referencing critical in a thesis?
It shows the authenticity of these references. No?
Right. It ensures academic integrity, prevents plagiarism, and complies with institutional guidelines. What documents should be included in the annexure section? Yes,
Basically, references. No?
right.
Raw data,
Okay. What else?
questionnaires,
Right, right. So tools like questionnaires, raw data, Turnitin report, ethical approval, and permissions. Which referencing style is mandated by UGC and most Indian universities?
It's APS
Right, APA latest
7.
edition. Right. Which of the following should be added in annexures?
Interview questions and raw data.
Right, interview questions and raw data. Now referencing accuracy check and annexure mapping. So what should be the steps? So you can collect the references you have. Then you can reformat all into APA 7th edition using Zotero. Then create a annexure table containing 3 entries: questionnaire, raw data, and ethics certificate. And then peer review each other's annexure organization. So what will be the diagram for annexure list? Table comprising annexure number, description, and referred page number. Clear? Annexure number, description, and referred page number. Now here are the links for APA style and Zotero. Now thesis formatting and submission protocols. So basically, this chapter covers the technical aspects of formatting and submission, which are non-negotiable for thesis acceptance. Begin with UGC compliant formatting, such as A4 size paper, Times New Roman, 12-point font, 1.5 line spacing, and justified alignment. Margins should be 1.5 inch on the left and 1 inch on all other sides. Most universities have institutional templates that include standardized cover pages, declaration forms, and title formats. The thesis must include a table of contents, list of tables, and list of figures, each generated through automated tools in MS Word. Page numbers starting after the abstract using Roman numerals for prelims and Arabic for chapters. Binding requirements are strict: soft binding for evaluation and hard bound with golden embossing for final submission. Scholars must complete submission checklists, get approvals from guides and research coordinators, and upload soft copies to Shodhganga or institutional repositories. Following these steps, avoid unnecessary delays in the award process. The more accurately you do it from beginning, the less time it will take to award. Dr. Rashmi Mehta from Siddhaganga Institute of Technology faced rejection of her thesis due to formatting non-compliance. She had used Calibri font, inconsistent margins, and did not include a list of tables. During a formatting workshop, she downloaded her university's approved template and applied the required formatting: Times New Roman, 1.5 spacing, and correct pagination. She used MS Word's table of contents and captioning tool to automate lists. After incorporating the table of figures and converting references to APA format with Zotero, she received approval from her guide. She also added the institutional certificate guide
Essential for
approval,
THESIS.
and plagiarism reports. Finally, she submitted both a spiral-bound evaluation copy and a hard-bound golden embossed copy for the research section. Her thesis was approved and archived in the university repository and Shodhganga. This experience emphasized the importance of compliance with formatting and submission rules for timely approval. Why is adherence to formatting protocols essential for their submission? Why is adherence to formatting protocols essential for thesis submission?
It gives a standard form, no? As per the UGC norms, you have to submit, no? Institutional as well as UGC norms.
It ensures uniformity, meets academic standards, and prevents administrative rejections. What is the significance of institutional submission checklists? They verify that all necessary components and approvals are completed before final submission. What is the standard font style and size required for thesis submission?
B.
Right, it is B Times New Roman 12 font size. What is the recommended spacing for thesis text according to UGC?
C. 1.5.
1.5 lines.
Right. Now formatting and final submission simulation. What we need to do? Just a moment. Yes. So you can take your pre-formatted Word file, then you can generate table of content, list of tables, and you can paginate it. Then you can insert data and figures using captioning tools. Then you can complete submission checklist. Then you can upload the formatted thesis to the institutional portal after due permission from your guide. So submission checklist, template, and page formatting must be adhered to. These guidelines must be adhered to. So here again, I have given the web link of Shodhganga submission guidelines and MS Word thesis formatting tutorial. Now, common errors in thesis writing and how to avoid them. So basically, we are discussing common errors that delay thesis approval and affect research credibility. One major issue is inconsistent referencing, mixing formats like APA, MLA, or leaving source uncited. Using tools like Zotero or Mendeley eliminates this risk. Vague or overlapping research questions result in unfocused studies. Objectives must be smart. A weak theoretical foundation leads to shallow analysis. So scholars must build their arguments around established theories like TAM, SERVQL, or Maslow's hierarchy. Poorly explained methodologies without sampling logic, tool justification, or data procedures often cause rejections. Language errors, spelling, grammar, and inconsistent voice reduce readability and scholarly quality. Finally, failing to check for plagiarism using Turnitin or similar software violates institutional norms. To avoid these, scholars must use templates, peer reviews, and checklists and consult guides regularly. Following a checklist of don'ts ensure smooth Departmental Research Committee approvals and readiness for publication. Now let us understand what we are discussing here. Dr. Tanya Verma from Yogi Varmana University submitted her thesis without proofreading or similarity check. The references were manually typed, inconsistent, and her objectives lacked clear structure. Her supervisor returned the thesis with over 100 correction remarks. In a thesis improvement session, she used Grammarly to correct over 300 grammar issues and installed Zotero to generate APA citations. She reworded vague objectives using Bloom's taxonomy and validated her tools through a pilot test. Her plagiarism similarity score was reduced from 32% to 9% after proper citation. She created a thesis error prevention checklist and revised her work over 2 weeks. The final version was not only approved by the research committee but also shortlisted for the Best Thesis Award. Her transformation underscores the importance of proactive error identification, proofreading, and tool usage for a polished thesis. What is the impact of poor language and grammar on thesis acceptance?
Increase the percentage of plagiarism.
Right? It reduces readability, academic credibility, and often leads to rejections or delays. What is a theoretical foundation? Why is a theoretical foundation crucial in thesis writing? It provides the framework for hypothesis formulation, analysis, and meaningful interpretation. Which of the following is not a common thesis writing error? Not. Focus on the word not.
Clear objective.
Not a common thesis writing error. Right? It is clear objectives. You are right. What is the UGC acceptance plagiarism similarity percentage?
D, below 10%.
Below 10%.
Below 10 or 20?
Below
No,
10%.
below 10. Below 10.
Okay. Now, thesis error audit on your own. What you should do? So, you can take your thesis, you can identify and mark errors in the objectives, grammar, and referencing. Then you can rewrite it using Grammarly and APA style. Then you can use Turnitin to compare similarity index before and after correction. And then you can share the revised thesis for peer feedback. So thesis error checklist will comprise of different categories like language, references, structure, methodology, and plagiarism. I will repeat the categories for thesis error checklist: language, references, structure, methodology, and plagiarism. So here are links for Grammarly tool, UGC plagiarism rules, and Zotero guide. Now, thesis to journal publication conversion. So turning a thesis into publishable research articles significantly enhances the academic value of your doctoral work. Begin by identifying sections that can stand alone, typically literature review with meta-analysis, methodology with tool development, or findings with empirical depth. Choose target journals indexed in Scopus or listed under UGC Care. I think now it does not exist, right? So choosing target journals indexed in Scopus based on your domain, your research domain. Carefully read and match your article structure to the journal's guidelines. While a thesis is lengthy and detailed, a journal article is concise, usually 5,000 to 7,000 words, and must have a clear research question, robust methods, and succinct discussion. Avoid copy pasting from your thesis. Reword and realign with the article's focus. Journals also require structured abstracts and APA style referencing. Submission involves peer review. Be prepared to revise and respond politely to reviewers' comments for which you need to make a rebuttal. Publishing from your thesis enhances visibility, credibility, and career opportunities, and may even serve as a criteria for award of degree in certain universities. So what I'm trying to say here, Dr. Vipul Deshmukh from MGM University, Aurangabad aimed to publish his thesis in parts. Initially, he tried to submit the entire literature review as an article, but it was rejected for being too descriptive. A mentor helped him identify publishable elements. One article focused on the meta-analysis from his literature chapter, another on SmartPLS based empirical findings. He followed the AIM-RAD structure. AIM-RAD is abstract, introduction, methodology, results, and discussion, and tailored each manuscript per journal requirements. He used Grammarly to improve clarity and EndNote for formatting references. His empirical article was accepted in Scopus Index Journal on Strategic HRM. He successfully published 3 papers over 8 months and fulfilled university conditions for PhD completion. Today, he advises scholars, PhD scholars, on how to extract multiple publications from a single thesis,
Thesis chapters.
increasing both academic output and professional credibility. So why should thesis chapter be restructured before submitting to journals?
To avoid rejection.
Okay, what else? Because journal articles are shorter, more focused, and follow specific formats. What factors should be considered while selecting a journal?
It should be Scopus.
If it will
Right.
focus indexed.
Right? So scope, indexing in Scopus, acceptance rate, and relevance to your topic. I think all of you know we have journal finder on Scopus or Elsevier or anywhere. So you can put your abstract or title as per the options given, and you can get the list of related journals. So which structure is commonly used for journal articles? Yes? Which one?
B.
It
B.
is?
Abstract in
Right.
format.
It is B. AIM-RAD. Which of the following is a Scopus Index journal database?
Elsewhere.
Right. Elsevier. Now, thesis to article blueprint. What we need to do. So you can identify one chapter suitable for publication. Then you can provide a journal's author guideline document. Then you can create an outline, that is title, abstract, 5-section body, and references. Then you can invite feedback from your peers for critical reviews and suggestions. Then you can prepare a submission-ready abstract by the end of the session. So the flowchart will be thesis chapter, followed by journal article, comprising split points and article types. Now here are certain links. Scopus Journal Finder, as I just mentioned. Then Springer author resources. Right?
UGC care is not there, isn't it?
Yeah, you can leave this UGC care. You should not focus on it now onwards. Now, what we have learned? Let us summarize. So as we conclude day 2 of the workshop, National Online Workshop on Synopsis and Thesis Writing, you are now equipped with the structure, strategy, and tools to write a Scopus-compliant chapter-wise PhD thesis. From crafting the introduction to finalizing annexures, this workshop has enabled you to address content quality, formatting, ethics, referencing, and data analytics. Tools like Turnitin, Zotero, SPSS, and SmartPLS are now integral to your writing journey. You also learned how to extract multiple publishable articles from your thesis using AIMRAD framework. These competencies prepare you not just for DRC and Viva Voce clearance, but also for building a strong academic profile through journal publications. Moving forward, review your thesis with peer groups, use submission checklists, and seek mentor feedback before final submission. Remember, a thesis is not just a document for a degree, it is your first real contribution to the knowledge in your field. So let us explore this topic further through a case. So, a national level evaluation of 300 PhD theses from universities like Namins, Sanskriti, and Yogi Varmana revealed that 70% of initial submissions failed to pass the DRC review due to structural or ethical gaps. After attending a structured 2-day workshop similar to this one, scholars rewrote their thesis using a chapter-wise format, adopted APA referencing like via Zotero, validated instruments through pilot testing, and improved analysis using SPSS and SmartPLS. One cohort from Sharda University published 22 Scoopus Index papers within 6 months post-workshop. A doctoral scholar from REVA who initially struggled with topic alignment and chapter structure was able to successfully present her thesis, clear the Viva with commendation, and receive a postdoctoral fellowship based on her revised thesis. This national data validates that when scholars are trained holistically across writing, tools, and publication ethics, they not only clear institutional approval swiftly, but also emerge as published researchers. How does a well-structured thesis enhance the chances of a degree, award, and publication? Yes, please. Yes, please. Today you have not participated much more in answering the questions of case studies. You have answered to the MCQs, but not to the case studies most of the times. So it meets academic and ethical requirements and presents findings in a credible, publishable format. What is the long-term benefit of mastering tools like Turnitin and SPSS during thesis writing? So these tools...
We can write papers.
Okay. So these tools enhance quality, data validity, and academic compliance, supporting lifelong research activities. Which of the following is not a next step after thesis writing?
Data
Yes.
collection.
Right. It is to be done before, not after. Which tool is used to detect plagiarism in a thesis?
Turnitin.
Turnitin.
Right. Right.
Turn it in.
Right. So personal thesis action plan, PTAP. This everyone must do. You can do it right now. I will share the steps if you have paper and pen. You can open a worksheet. Now you can list your current thesis progress chapter-wise. Open a worksheet or take a pen and paper and list your current thesis progress chapter-wise. Then identify gaps based on today's learning. What you learned today, identify the gaps accordingly. Then create a timeline for revisions. As you have seen in most of the caselets, I have mentioned timeline. Like some of them are able to do in 2 weeks, some in 21 days, publication in 6 or 8 weeks or so, right? So create a timeline for revisions, submissions, and publication. Then present your PTAP for mentor feedback. So thesis workflow tracker comprises of progress bar format, chapters versus completion in percentage, right? So one side you write chapters, other side you write how much percent you have completed and how much is left and how much it will take chapter wise to complete, right? Now Shodh Ganga link. Now outcomes of this workshop. So, but yes, any query, anyone? Please ask if you have any queries. Hope things are clear today also to everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. So by the end of today's or the 2-day national workshop, every participating scholar has built a detailed, structured understanding of how to approach your thesis and synopsis writing journey, from defining a sharp research problem to concluding systematic reviews, applying ethical writing standards, and targeting reputed journals for publication. Each module has focused on applied skill building. So you have engaged with software tools like Prisma for reviews, Zotero for referencing, Turnitin for plagiarism checks, and SPSS or SmartPLS for analysis. The practical activities ensure real-time output and application. Certification from this workshop will not only validate your learning, but also enrich your academic profiles. The connections made here will grow into professional research networks. Going forward, you are equipped to publish internationally and defend your work confidently before doctoral committees and peer reviewers. I hope all of you will agree to me.
Yes,
Yes,
very
ma'am.
much.
Okay. Only 2 persons are responding positively.
No, it's very much required actually.
Okay, thank you so much. So let us explore this also. So after attending the full workshop, Dr. Meenal Joshi from Reva University was able to complete her pending synopsis and structure the thesis chapters effectively. She had previously faced 3 rejections due to methodological gaps and referencing issues. Using Zotero, she restructured all citations. Her literature review using Prisma was well received by her doctoral committee. The final thesis included a clear theoretical model, ethical declarations, and proper formatting. She submitted her paper to Journal of Business Research and it was accepted after peer review. She credited the workshop's comprehensive roadmap, particularly the activity-based learning sessions, for her progress. Her department has since made the workshop content a compulsory pre-submission training module. How does software proficiency enhance research quality? How does software proficiency enhance research quality? It enables accurate data handling, referencing, and analysis. What lasting value do such workshops create beyond certification? They improve research capacity, peer learning, and global publication readiness. Which of the following is not a workshop outcome? Yes,
Structuring emails.
right, structuring emails. Which software is not used in the workshop?
Canva.
Canva, right. Canva is for?
Canva.
Designing,
For making,
making.
yeah, basically for designing, right. So Gantt chart of thesis completion timeline. So you must list thesis components with current progress, match it with the workshop learnings, Then create a timeline with milestones using Google Sheets, and then present the roadmap with output target dates. I'll repeat. You should list your thesis components with current progress, match it with workshop learnings, create a timeline with milestones using Google Sheets, and then present the roadmap with output target dates. In our university, it is mandatory for every scholar to provide this Gantt chart, whether it is, RP or PRS 1 or 2 or 3 or anything, so that you can adhere to it. Okay. Web links and suggested readings for Scoopers, Turnitin, and SmartPLS. Okay. Any queries? This is my LinkedIn ID. I hope all of you had my introduction in the beginning, so you are familiar with me. So I extend heartfelt thanks to you all for dedicating your time and engaging deeply in the knowledge-driven journey. Your contribution to academic excellence continues beyond this workshop. So you can share your feedback using to improve future editions, right? And for continued support, you can approach us anytime. My number is there in the WhatsApp group. And for queries or anything or any other feedback, you can share the inputs to Dr. Bhola also. So let this workshop be a springboard for all your academic and research milestones. Now I'm open to your queries. You can have queries or any suggestions, any other session or workshop you are looking for in future. Any suggestions, any feedback? Anyone?
The statistical tools, statistics tools, we should
Any
have some
particular tool or in general?
in general spaces or
In general, whether
yeah,
it is univariate, multivariate,
no,
or all?
particularly all actually.
All. Okay.
Yeah.
So I hope Bhola sir is listening. Bhola sir, I hope you are there.
It's not there, it seems.
Okay. I'll share the feedback. Okay. Anything else? Any other student? Okay. So I will share the feedback to Bhola sir. Okay. Anything else anyone would like to say? Okay. Over. Yes.
So it's a very good session actually. Today you had put in a lot of efforts, and we got a good exposure about synopsis and thesis writing. Thanks a lot, madam.
Thank you so much, Mr. John.
Yeah.
You have remained active participant both days. I really appreciate.
Thank you.
Okay. So I hope
Thank you,
today
ma'am.
also, welcome ma'am, Himanshi ma'am, you also
You
participated.
got very insightful things, so it will definitely help to complete our thesis.
Thank you so much, ma'am. All the best from my side to everyone. Complete
Thank you
your
so much,
journey
ma'am.
and have doctor in your name.
Yes.
Okay.
And let the dream
Very
come
much,
true.
ma'am.
Long
Thank
journey.
you, ma'am.
No, it's
Oh.
not so long. I think it is 3 years,
Yeah.
minimum 3 years.
Oh.
Yeah. So you should abide by to it. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Welcome. Yes, ma'am. You want to say anything? Uma, ma'am? You have raised hand. You want to share something?
No, ma'am. Just actually, I wanted to tell that it was an excellent session. You have referred with the case studies that was really excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Actually, what happens is, as per my experience is concerned, though I have conducted sessions on Prisma, SLR, or various sessions we keep on conducting. Even your first paper, RPE, or as per the needs like journal or mastering the scale of writing papers in journal or anything, whatever feedback you give, like sir has given today. What I observed is sometimes scholars, the problems they are facing, sometimes they are either not able to express what they are facing in actual, or they feel hesitant to explain it, as other scholars are also there. So I try to cover all the problems you are facing through one caselet or the other. That is basically the motive. So you might feel connected to one caselet or the other.
Yeah,
Am I right?
that's exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that is the purpose, because once you get the connect to the problem you are facing, you will become keen to, find the solution to it. Connect is must. The same goes with the teaching also. When we enter to the class, we cannot start teaching directly unless and until we are able to establish a rapport with the audience, whether it is classroom or delivering any session or addressing any audience. Rapport building is must. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Uma ma'am, too, and everyone here. Now